Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we have had something happen on Hearthstone that we haven't seen happen in like over a year. Something I've complained a good amount about. And we're going to talk about that as well as review the mechanic that has made all of this happen, as well as I want to mention a keyword in Hearthstone that you might not be aware of is not going to be getting any more support going forward unless things have changed in Hearthstone. So some fun little tidbits and a little bit of observations. We're gonna go into that. We'll get to it in a second. And if you enjoy the content on the channel, you feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like, it helps us out a lot. So why am I looking at Prince Redithal here? Well, the meme with Prince Redithal, well, is it really a meme? It's just reality. The card was so popular, was in so many decks, it had its run and they nerfed it from 40 health to 35. And right after that, it was basically replaced by Astalor as the most played card for over a year. Astalor has been the most common card. I think I mentioned it like, I don't know, countless times. Like, they should probably adjust it. If you nerf Prince Redithal, you should nerf Astalor, even though I'm not like super passionate about that. It's been kind of okay. I just, you know, with the brand shenanigans and all that. Regardless, we've talked a lot about it. And I looked at the statistics. I went to HS Replay. I went to card stats of the cards most played since the latest mini set. And finally, for the first time, it's been over a year, Cobalt Miner has dumped Astalor all the way down to number 2 at 40%. And isn't it kind of crazy? Isn't it kind of just a weird notion that in 2024 Hearthstone, where power level's crazy, all this stuff is out of control, the most common card in the game is a 2-mana 1/1, a 2-mana 1/1, and it's all because of that excavate mechanic. And by the way, it's crazy how popular Reno is. 37% of decks. This is at Legend too. But Druid plays it, even though we're running like a billion duplicates they draw in the late game. But still, people like to play Reno. And then you have other excavate card here and like Burrow Buster and the usual neutral legendary suspects. And if you look for like the top class card, they were at Bellowing Flames and Brand, because people like playing Brand Warrior. Look at the deck win rate though. Not doing great. Those numbers are gonna keep going down. So I wanted to just talk about excavate in general. It's been the key mechanic this expansion, and it has been really powerful. And the interesting thing about excavate, I don't really hear complaints about it, right? When something's powerful and good and wins a lot, there's usually a lot of complaints about it. But when you look at all the classes that can excavate and everything going on with it, it's never really the excavation. Only like the Warlock reward was really complained about, and that died within like a few days. And it's just a really kind of refreshing thing to look at. And you look at the card statistics, you search by excavate, look how well performing the vast majority of excavate cards are doing in the game. Pretty much every card that just says excavate does really well right now. The only ones that are sub 50% are like attached to Warlock, because their reward just isn't worth it anymore after it got killed. That's why I wish they would just redesign it or do something with it, because just stealing health to me, like really dull compared to the other rewards. But the other cards are Warrior, which I think are being brought down by the mass amount of Reno Warriors right now. I think these numbers would be higher if they're just playing like Control Warrior or like Odin Warrior or whatever. I think these would be doing a lot better, and they're still fine. And then you have Slagmaw, is by far the worst excavate style card. And it's even been buffed. It's just too slow, too easy to remove, because every big mini in the game just dies for nothing. And then you have the Shaman Excavate, where that Excavate reward, right, hasn't really taken off. But this mechanic has been one of the best introduced to the game in a long time. I remember the old lackeys, right? The lackeys from Rise of Shadows. They drew me crazy because there's like a never-ending supply of them, and they gave you like incredible value with like the Dragon Lackey and the Spell Lackey. But when you look through like the excavate rewards that you get, like just the common, rare, and epic ones, none of them ever feel super crazy bad to face for the most part. There's like minimal value, which I think was smart, because that was the problem with the lackeys, was Dragon Lackey, Spell Lackey. There are some, but they're very limited in pool, right? 2 cost minion or 2 cost card, 3 cost card, 5 cost card. Probably the most crazy was like this one that was introduced, elementals, and we know so far that hasn't been that insane other than just some of the high roll potentials. But overall, you never feel too horrifically bad. I think the worst experience I have when I face like an excavate reward is I played a big minion. This is more arena based, and they get canary, and it's just completely can destroy you sometimes. But overall, excavate's fun to play. I find it very fun to play. I love drafting arena. Like excavate cards in arena are great, but ladder, of course, playing excavate super fun there. It's not the most frustrating thing in the world to face. And then when you look at the rewards, a lot of them are just a lot of fun. Get a Titan. Pretty crazy. Something you can kind of prepare for on ladder. Shaman's whole like evolve thing hasn't worked out so much, but the warrior one, getting those 2 8-drops. I love resummoning stuff, bringing it back with reborn lifesteal in like Death Knight, getting that Reska back can feel so good, or just a big rusher. Obviously, rogue players are enjoying spamming infinite random garbage, and people really do enjoy that. And I really have not seen much of the paladin or shaman rewards, even though the classes do utilize excavate. Those rewards haven't been like too crazy, but again, pretty fun. It just does bring me back to the whole warlock reward as like one of my bigger disappointments from excavate, where it's just one of those things that like all it does is steal health. Like that's it. All the other ones, like they buff stuff, you get a bunch of cool cards, you summon big things, you evolve your entire deck, like they do crazy whatever. This just steals some health, and that's all you can do with it. So that's probably my biggest disappointment, but it's just cool to see that excavate has been such a popular mechanic, a powerful mechanic, that it has overthrown Astalor, which goes into like so many decks. But yeah, we want to play a 2-mana 1/1 to get those really cool rewards. And also those rewards are like flashy epics legendaries that you don't have to pay $1 for, right? They're just cards that are, you just generate. So to me, excavate has been a home run of a mechanic in Hearthstone. I wonder if they'll ever re-explore this again in like future years, if Hearthstone's around in future years. But it's just like puts that kind of perfect level or mix of like Galakrond invoking and then the whole Lackey system all into like one crazy little package, and I just want to praise them for doing that good job with it. It's been a lot of fun, and it'll be interesting to see how the power level will continue with it, if it's too much going into standard rotation, all that. So yes, Astalor no longer the king, and the excavate mechanic has just been a really cool one. But I wanted to talk about one other mechanic before we head off today. I'm a nerd. I go through all like notes, patch notes stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute. I remember something with the last year. This is the last year of the Wolf update where we had like the roadmap. By the way, I saw a Rard video where he said we didn't get a roadmap last year. Hello, we got a roadmap. It had that big wild update on it. That wasn't a wild update. It was actually for Twist, which you can't even play right now. What are they doing? Anyways, I remembered. Remember they added tradable as a keyword. They added it to be an evergreen keyword after Stormwind rotated out. I was thinking like, man, I'd really like to see Forge be an evergreen keyword, but it also reminded me they added Magnetic back. Remember? Magnetic was added back this year with the core set with like cards like Ziliax. But this is important to note, as it's stated here, Magnetic is not becoming an evergreen keyword. That means these magnetic cards will not necessarily stay in core. They will be, I'm almost certain, but we'll talk about that in a second. That said, we do have plans to continue making fun mechs and other cards that are attractive to these returning magnetic cards. And then it's more and more puns because they're all punny and funny like that. But if you look at your collection, we have got magnetic cards throughout the entire year, right? The most recent one, Prosthetic Hand, in the last mini set, but we got them throughout the year, like Absorbent Parasite, Chillomatic was made, we had a couple more for Paladin here, and then of course a bunch of magnetics in Titans for Rogue. So it is very unlikely that we're going to see more support for these magnetic or these mech type of decks with magnetics, unless there's a change of plans, right? But if you're wondering about your mechs and your mech decks and all that, I know a lot of people like it. I know a lot of people hate it. But yeah, unless plans change based on these notes, we should not be expecting any magnetic cards being made next year. But in terms of like would Ziliax rotate, like the ones that are in the core set right now, I think they would probably stick around as they're kind of like up, a whole core part of that mech stuff. But if you look at the magnetics right now in standard, I don't think any of the core ones, the core set ones, even see play in like the meta decks. Like I'd never see Zilliax, Gatekeeper, Menace, Wargear, any of these. I just don't see them in decks. But man, I don't want them to get rid of my Diamond Zilliax. Don't put that away yet. So we'll see, but I just thought I'd let you guys know as a fun little tidbit that yes, the magnetic mechanic will be going at least dormant. Wait, is dormant's an evergreen keyword? Maybe let's make it evergreen and just keep rolling with it because it does seem to just naturally fit. Like, why not? Why not just add it evergreen? I don't think it would hurt anybody. Anyways, that's our little news and all that today. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.